What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Hope all is well with you. Listen, guys, we're going to use this video to be sort of final thoughts when it comes to my experience on last weekend's Flashcast. You guys know I had an opportunity to go back and forth with Director X, and I just want to talk about my thoughts on that very quickly because it comes with the revelation. Now, this is something that I think we all kind of knew, but I want to just drill down on this because this is something that I feel like we can't miss. This is a point that I want to keep with me because going forward, I know that I am going to be a little bit more focused on this area of my commentary when it comes to show business and Hollywood entertainment, things like that. It's kind of a continuation of what you guys know me for talking about anyway. But first of all, a lot of you expressed in my comment section that you give credit and respect to Director X for even showing up on these panels and things like that. And I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree. I will give him credit for that. I'm not sure of his motives still, but I will give him credit for showing up when he's outnumbered and, you know, outgunned and everything like that. So I got to give it to him on that. And a lot of you also wondered if he learned anything from it. You know, some of you kind of speculated that he didn't get anything out of that. He's not going to learn anything from it. And you know something? That's not even my concern so much. All right. I mean, I would hope that he learned something from it because when we do things, we all should learn from the things that we do. I don't care how big or small, but I'm more concerned with what I learned from it. Okay. So that's what this video is about, is what I learned, my takeaway from this, because like I said, it does, present a revelation to me, because in talking to Director X, one thing that I got from him, and I picked up on this too when I saw him on another stream, but even more so on the Flashcast, he said that he was surrounded by black people in the room, you know, when he was coming up with this Robin with the Y crap, you know, so all of those people that were around him, or the vast majority of them, were black. So when you get into the question of why they employed stereotypes on this show, even though he doesn't see it, right? He doesn't see where the stereotypes were. It's very interesting to me that you could be in a room surrounded by other black people and none of them pointed out, you know, maybe we're playing a little bit into these stereotypes a little bit too much. Maybe we can take another angle. Maybe we can still tell the same story, but a little bit differently. But that didn't happen. You know, and I find that to be very, very interesting the more I think about it, because this was actually my observation with the whole decision to make Black Panther die in the movies, to kill the character. When you had Ryan Coogler, you had Nate Moore, you had a cast of people, predominantly black, who swore that that was the right thing to do. And of course, you guys know it's well documented that I vehemently disagree with that creative decision. And I think as time goes on, more people will understand that. But I see that and I'm like, you know what? This is worse than I thought it was. Because, you know, in Hollywood, when you go back to the earliest days of Hollywood, when they wanted to portray black people on screen, unfortunately, we had to deal with negative stereotypes. We had to deal with negative images. We had to deal with blackface and demeaning caricatures where they were like, okay, boss, and okay, bugging out the eyes all wide, big lips and everything like that. So that's kind of where Hollywood took the black image. And then, of course, we got into blaxploitation years later. But it hasn't always been a very flattering picture of black people that has been painted in the movies. So you get to thinking that, okay, it's a predominantly white business, you know, it's a white forum, you know, creatively speaking. So you start thinking that, okay, that's just the way they see us. That's the way they want to see us. It's, you know, it's not cool. You know what I mean? It's kind of prejudice like that. But today in 2023, we're getting to the end of 2023, 2024, you start to realize that the enemy has now become us, because you can't say that we're not in positions of influence, in positions of power. Here we're talking about two productions, Robin with the Y Hood and Black Panther. And there's a lot more out there. All right. But you got these two productions and both of them lean very heavily into these tropes that have been dogging the black community forever. Fatherless homes, You know, we saw that in Robin with the White Hood. And of course, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, they took the father, they took the king out of the picture. So it became more of a story of female empowerment, not just female empowerment, but women being forced to take control when the man is not there to do that. These are well-established tropes. This is what you see too often in the Black community. So we have that being reflected. We have art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life. And it's a cycle, it's a circle that unfortunately we have become so heavily invested in, where we have these studio execs, we have these people in a position of power and influence who happen to be Black, but they are so invested in the idea of victimhood, in the idea of Black entitlement. Yes, I said Black entitlement. Black people feel like they're entitled to be victims. They feel like they're entitled to endless reparations, whether it's in the form of money or whether it's in the form of art. You know, we're going to always present ourselves as victims, so you can feel sympathy for us. You can feel sympathetic towards us, but that's not what's ended up happening. What it has actually ended up happening is that people are more just tired. People are more just tired of seeing the endless, oh, poor us, poor me, we're the victims. Look at what people are doing to us. We'd be so much more if people hadn't done this or done that. It becomes pathetic after a while. But unfortunately, you can't get through to these people. Like I said, bringing this back to, my back and forth with Director X, he legitimately, I believe, did not see where his show was embracing and perpetuating stereotypes. He could not see it because he's surrounded by other people. Like, that's one thing I'll give him credit for. He said it a couple of times. We never thought of it that way. Really? And Nate Moore said the same thing when it came to killing T'Challa. You know, it was a quick conversation. We never thought of it that way. It was a no-brainer, which is the reason why you heard me say sometimes you have to have a brainer. Sometimes you have to think about these things. There's no such thing as no-brainers when it comes to something like this, when it comes to images. All right? People put thought into images. That's the reason why some people out there are known as super smart. Some people are known as super brave. You know, this is a characteristic by race that people give to other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. When you represent yourself on screen or in person or whatever the case may be, when you represent yourself, you should want to put your best foot forward. You should want people to see you at your best, at your strongest. But for some reason, it's acceptable, it's expected, it's unquestionable that Black people have to be seen as less than. Like, he actually said that they could have made Robin a white girl in this production, but they wanted to put her in the projects. So it seemed like, once again, a no-brainer to make Robin Black in the projects. Not saying that there's no white people in the projects. He did say that. But it was just more acceptable. It was more normal that Black people should be stuck in the projects. And likewise, when it came to casting John Prince, the bad guy, who is of privilege, who is of means, who's rich, it just seemed like a no-brainer that it should be a white man. That is very telling, very extremely telling of the creative process and what goes on in the minds of this room full of Black people. Once again, you can't blame this on anybody else. This is how we see ourselves. This is where we want to keep ourselves. And with that comes a refusal or an inability to be able to see how you are embracing and perpetuating these stereotypes, these tropes. You need for Black people to be downtrodden. That's the scary thing about this, guys. Just like with Black Panther, like I said before, when you look at the way hip hop is, we have got to be one of the only people out there who consistently appeal to the lowest common denominator amongst us. We don't challenge ourselves to be more, or maybe we do in words only, you know. But when it comes to the way that we present ourselves, we always have to appeal to the lowest common denominator. That's the reason why we say some bullshit like, yeah, we can call each other nigga, but you can't call us nigger. Oh, nigga with an A? No, nigger. There's no difference to me, except one is a speech impediment. Nigga. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean anything different. It's no less insulting. It is no less insulting when it comes from black people. And there is the danger, because we can't be mad at white people or anybody else for being disrespectful of us, for disregarding us on film in our presence and our impact that we could make, because we've taught these people how to be disrespectful of us. We taught them how to do this. It used to be that, yeah, they called us racial slurs, but now we call each other racial slurs. If you disagree with me right now, I guarantee you somebody in the comment section is going to call me a coon. That's something that racist white people used to call us. But now nobody calls us coons more than we call each other coons. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, this is what we do. We have embraced this upon ourselves, and we have projected this out onto the world. And then we sit back and wonder, where does the disrespect come from? When we're the ones who are killing our babies at disproportionate rates in the womb. Yeah, I'm talking about abortion. We do that. What are we showing the world of how we regard ourselves? When we have the power to portray ourselves, we get on the mic in hip hop and call each other some niggers and bitches. We're disrespectful of one another. When we have the opportunity to portray ourselves in TV and movies, we put ourselves in the projects. We talk broken English. That's why I'm glad that this movie is coming out with Jeffrey Wright. I'm going to leave it in the pinned comment below. I forget the name of the movie, but there's an upcoming movie with Jeffrey Wright where he's actually tackling the concept of stereotypes and monetizing and weaponizing stereotypes. And there's this line in the trailer where he says, it seems like the dumber I act, the richer I get. And that's what we see, unfortunately, too often in black entertainment. The more ignorant you act, the dumber you act, the more of a victim you act like, the more it's lucrative for us. You know, it's like you will never go broke acting like a dumbass if you're black in the entertainment industry. And when you look at people like Director X, Nate Moore, the rappers who are out here, some of your sports personalities and things like that, this is what we see all too often. And I just thought that it was very interesting when I heard Director X say that. He was in a room full of black people, and this is the best they could come up with. The best that they could come up with for this story was to employ tropes and stereotypes. Whether they acknowledge it or admit it or not, it goes down real easy to see black people being ignorant, because that's what more people are comfortable with. That's what we're comfortable with. We put that out into the world. If we want to challenge the world to see us as different, then we have to portray ourselves as different. Oh, does it mean you have to be perfect? No, it doesn't. It just means that you're growing. All right. It means that you're not standing still, that generation after generation after generation, you don't just keep calling yourselves racial slurs and just saying this is who we are. And these are our characteristics. We're just going to be in these slums. We're going to be in these ghettos. It's going to be synonymous with being black. But that's where we are, guys. You know, and my challenge is what it always has been. First to myself, because I could have gone down that road myself. I was for a while when I was a younger man, because that's all I saw. That's what I thought we were supposed to be. But thank God my eyes opened up, you know, before I became a father, because I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm not interested in raising a son to be that way or anyone around him. I challenge them all. Be something better than what the world says you are. But that's it, guys. I think that was the biggest takeaway that I got, or at least the most interesting revelation that I got from this. I've seen the enemy. And God damn it, it's us. It's us. If we don't change, we can't expect anybody else to change us or regard us any differently. But anyway, guys, those are some thoughts that I wanted to share about that. And you can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about that. As always, I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Thank you guys for the super thanks. Keep on getting at me in the comment section. I love you all so much. Catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.